Yo, welcome back to Jay Wiz TV. It's your host Jay Wiz. With all this hip hop stuff going on, hip hop is in a great place competition wise. I know it's been a lot of back and forth with East Coast, West Coast. Yes, we don't want to see another East Coast, West Coast, but the competitive nature of everything in hip hop now is in the forefront, and it's great for hip hop. But I just want to do my just do and learn about the OGs in the past before it got to this point. So we're going to take it back to 1995 to Hip Hop Source Award, where it all started for every region, whether it's the East, West, or South. Yeah, we're going to get into some reaction. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button and support the channel. Without further more, let's jump into some video, all right? Let's go.
Let me tell you, if there's one night that could perfectly capture how everything went down the drain so fast, it's this one. On August 3rd, 1995, at the Paramount Theater in New York City, the entire game would change forever. And not just on the West Coast either. The East Coast, and hell, even the South Coast, all got major reflections after that night. But let's take it from the top. You might not know what The Source is right now, but back in the 90s, this was the most popular black magazine on the market. Whether you are out in New York or in LA or down in Atlanta, The Source felt like the only publication that accurately represented the culture. And so in 1994, we got the first ever Source Awards. It was BET before BET was a thing. The Source Awards felt like the first award show dedicated to celebrating hip-hop at a time when the whole hip-hop culture was still being criticized by the mainstream. In 1995, it didn't really matter what coast you came from. Hip-hop music was the hottest thing in the country. The West Coast was on top form, even with Tupac locked up. Dre and Snoop just dropped successful projects back-to-back and still had G's like Nate Dogg, Corrupt, Lady of Rage, Daz, DJ Quick, and Michelle, among others. The East Coast was also cooking with artists like Warren G, Nas, Craig Mack, Junior Mafia, Lil Kim, Faith Evans, and of course Biggie. And even the South Coast was stepping into the light with Outkast. Hold that thought, we'll get back to that in a minute. The show started out with a grand-ass performance from Death Row artists. They had the really cool idea to put all the artists behind bars on stage, and they left one cell open as a show of support.
That's some real gangster jailhouse West Coast stuff. So during the West Coast performance on the 1995 Source Awards, they decided to have prison bars, and every rapper from Death Row would come out these prison bars and rap, but they left one empty for Tupac since he was incarcerated. But that's some real West Coast gangster if I ain't heard it.
For Tupac. Pac was locked up at the time on sexual assault allegations, right after he got shot 5 times and survived, in New York of all places. Anyway, Dre started things off with Keep Your Heads Ringing.
Ride on up, so get a move on, and get your groove on. It's the DRE, the spectacular.
Then we got the Dog Pound, Lady of Rage, Nate Dogg, and Sam Snead all performing back-to-back. Then, before Snoop Doggy Dogg could wrap up the performance, DJ Quick stepped up next and was looking to be a problem. Quick performed a diss track called Dollars and Cents, directed at MC Eiht, who was right there in the crowd at the time.
Don't make dollars and don't make sense. MC Eiht, baby, you gotta give it up, yeah. And to your mama, baby, when I dig, don't even bother. I'm not just your enemy, I'm also your stepfather.
And yeah, this was one Compton rapper dissing another, calling out his name on stage, and even claiming he is MC Eiht's stepfather.
So 2 Compton rappers went head-to-head during the Source Award in the middle of all this other coast stuff that was going on. I didn't know that. And then for him to diss the individual while he was on stage and the individual was out in the crowd.
Fam, it was on from this moment. This set the tone for the night, and homeboys all had something to prove. After Biggie won the first award of the night for Best New Artist, the New York crowd decided they didn't want to show love to anyone, not out of the East Coast. Outkast, who were just making strides in hip-hop on the South Side from Atlanta, swept up the Best New Group award. And on their way up to receive it, they got booed. Andre 3000 smelled the doubt, and he made a promise right there and then.
Yeah, first of all, you know what I'm saying? We want to thank God, just, you know what I'm saying, dead serious, because if it weren't for him, you know what I'm saying, we wouldn't be here. But it's like this, though. I'm tired of folks, you know what I'm saying? Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, he got like he didn't want to say. Get it off your chest. Don't hesitate. Let them know how y'all feel in the South, you know?
That one statement inspired a movement in the South and led to Atlanta being the rap factory we know it to be today.
See Andre, Big Boy, dudes who were from right here, our area, man, Southside, East Point, and get up there, man, and say the South got something to say, man, it turned everybody up.
And it finally gave clear cut and incision from New York wannabeism. It was a great thing that they were handled in that way because it finally cut the umbilical cord saying, we don't have to impress you. We don't have to be influenced by you in the same creative way. We're going to show you.
So the South has been outshined or, you know, put to the side, you know, and they always been looked at as imitators of the East Coast or of New York, you know, and they always been overshadowed by them, you know. But here, Killer Mike said it best, you know. They broke that chain right there at the 1995 Source Awards, starting with Andre 3000 in them, and ever since then, it's been up from there for the South.
As far as the Source Awards, however, Andre's words just added more fuel to the hostility in the atmosphere. Everybody was already on guard, and shit was about to get really confrontational soon. When it came time for the Lyricist of the Year award, Biggie was all set to receive his second award of the night. When his name was read out, he rushed to the stage and yelled out,
Yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to do. Straight up Brooklyn in the house, representing.
And this is a moment that I don't see get mentioned nearly enough when other people talk about the Source Awards. That crowd hearing what Biggie said at this moment in the night only made the homeboys more territorial and hostile to everyone not from the East Coast. And on a night like this, with so many egos at play, you can bet your house that these artists were feeling the negative energy. Dr. Dre was still keeping his cool at this point, won the Video of the Year award for his collaboration with Ice Cube, and in his acceptance speech, he shouted out Eazy-E, who had just passed away that year from AIDS.
First of all, I gotta say, peace to everybody from the Death Row camp. Also gotta say, peace to the family and children of Eazy-E. Word up. Gotta give a shout out to everybody at the Source Awards. Good looking out. Peace.
Then we had the Bad Boy performance from Puff Daddy, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Junior Mafia, Lil Kim, and Biggie. And to start things off, Diddy had a little spoken word passage where he said this.
I live in the East, and I'm gonna die in the East.
Again, nothing too bad, but it fueled the crowd even more.
Everybody just adding on to the fuel. It seemed like during this whole 1995 Source Awards, you had the South, the East, and the West playing a big part, just igniting the fire. Everybody quickly making it up to the stage and repping their region. You know, you can see the division. You know, I can feel how the animosity could be in the air, you know.
Versus West Coast narrative that was going on. And if you need proof of that, then check this out. The next award presented was for Soundtrack of the Year, and it was presented by Miss Jones, Flavor Flav, and AMG. Now, as soon as AMG came on the stage, the very first thing he did was to shout out the West Coast.
Hey! West Coast.
Dougie Fresh.
Anyway, Death Row and Suge Knight won the award with their soundtrack for Murder Was the Case. Suge Knight, a boogeyman in the industry at this time, stepped up to collect the award.
That's the boogeyman I've been hearing, you know, I heard of before growing up, man. He got a lot of people off the record deals, and he strong-armed a lot of people, you know. Legend says it that he got a lot of people, I say, they record deals when they was getting played by these producers or getting played by these executive companies. He'll go in there and then just, yoke one of them up and hit them with the vanilla ice move, and hang him out the balcony. Next thing you know, you out your contract. But this was the boogeyman back then. Back then, that hip hop era that everybody was kind of scared of, definitely on the West Coast.
What happened next is as iconic a moment as they come. He started off by giving a shout out to Tupac, letting everybody know that they're holding the business down while he's locked up.
Just at the east side of the LBC. When I'm just it's the Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All you search know what's up with 213.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We riding with him.
Then, all of a sudden, bam, he takes a ruthless shot at Diddy.
And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
If this isn't a war cry, then I don't know what is. Suge just told the whole game that if they don't like the way Diddy is copping appearances on their music, then they should come work with him to top things.
So that was a shot at Diddy. I guess Diddy used to always dancing people. Being a producer, he was, he never made music. He used to be in these people music video dancing. So that was a shot at Diddy pretty much by the boogeyman of the West, telling everybody, if y'all don't want y'all producer dancing in your video trying to get all the light, come to Death Row. So shots was fired direct at Puff Daddy, Pause.
Off, Suge Knight did this in New York, on Bad Boy Records territory, where the folks don't even really ride with him or Death Row. And you could be damn sure that most of these fellas didn't turn up to the event without a piece. Warren G even said he was strapped up at the venue, observing cautiously.
Yeah.
But in 95, you were on stage with Death Row and Suge Knight when he came at Puff. And he was talking about dancing all in the videos.
I wasn't on the stage.
Okay,
I was there.
You were there.
But didn't nobody know I was there. This is some more shit, Talib. I was there.
So didn't nobody know you? So you wasn't there with Death Row?
Nobody, period, knew I was there. I caught a cab. I had on a black hoodie. I had a hoodie. I was sitting in the back of that motherfucker, just like this. Yeah.
That's
through the whole
crazy.
thing. I watched the
So you
whole
watching
thing. I
That's
watched
crazy.
the whole awards.
You said on your documentary.
I had a Glock on me, but
Oh my God. He got him mad as
Hey, we're going to cut that there, man. Basically what he was saying, man, he didn't go with the whole group. He was out on his own mission. He was there to make sure everything went down. He caught the cab, hoodie down, weapon in hand, He was the single-handed Navy Team 6, He came in just to make sure everything went right. If things would have went left, that was the West Coast shooter, I guess. And that's what he pretty much said. But enough said. Thank y'all for tuning in to Jay Wiz TV. That was the 1995 Hip Hop Award and what led to a lot of regions not liking each other. This is just part 1. We will get into part 2. Next segment, we got to chop this work up. Until next time, hit that subscribe button.